Hi, I'm Michelle Powell, and this is my first time on Periscope. I'm going to tell you who I am, and then I'm going to give you a confession, and then I'm going to ask you to do the same thing, and let's talk it through. I'm Michelle Powell. I'm founder and CEO of Professional Manner, and I have been an etiquette consultant for almost 14 years now. I am a public speaker, I'm a columnist, and I provide training in corporate environments as well as one-on-one coaching for executive leadership. What I want to talk about today is STDs in the workplace. It's not what you think. Let me start with my own situational toxic dilemma, an STD. I had a friend who wanted to, I should say friend and colleague, because she is also a professional speaker. We have performed together. We have conducted seminars and other things. We've been on the stage together. And we also have developed a long-time friendship. I was recently asked to speak at a university, and she wanted to tag along to observe, give me feedback, because we kind of tag team each other. We coach each other sometimes. So that's always welcome. She also wanted to, she asked me to make an introduction for her with the university as an additional resource. So I thought that was a good idea. So I let the organizers know that I was bringing a guest, and it all started out well. I did my presentation, and throughout that, I made reference to her so that I could build the credibility for her with the audience, and then at the end have her to come up and make an introduction of herself. And so all of that went well. Where the STD came in was at the end of her presentation when she was trying to, I guess, build the connection between the two of us. Though she had already said, we've worked together before. She made reference to the fact that, well, without going into the very specific thing, she, because I don't want to give this person away in case friends are listening or those who were in the audience were listening, but she embarrassed me in front of my audience. Now, it wasn't just about, oh, embarrassment, take one for the team kind of thing. It was something that was undermining to my position as an expert in front of that audience. And that's damaging to the brand. It's damaging to the relationship that I have with her. It wasn't damaging to my relationship with the university, and really, quite frankly, my audience got what they came for. I did get that feedback, so that wasn't the point. But the fact that she was unscripted and said something that was really off-putting, and I had to keep myself from doing this. And so I was sitting on the front row trying not to react to what she was saying. And as she looked down at me, she glanced at me momentarily and said, I better fix this. So whatever was on my face was screaming, oh my goodness, you didn't just say that. So she proceeded to try to fix it, but in the process, it just became really messy. And honestly, I think it probably did more harm for her than it did me. And that's not to be backbiting because I love this person dearly. It just created an STD for me and for her. And so I had to take my own medicine. I had to walk the walk. One of the lessons that I have learned for myself and then taught to others is that when you're in a situation like that, there are three things you have to remember. First of all, you have to maintain your professionalism even when someone else does not. Secondly, you don't want to bring more attention to the bad behavior. So sometimes you have to ignore it in that moment. And the third thing is, if something gets you riled, something gets you emotional, that's not the best time to respond to it. because you're not really going to respond the way you need to. You're going to react with that emotion. And so what I've always said is that you need to remove the emotion from the situation before you respond to it. And if you can't, you remove yourself from the situation until you can respond without that emotion. So that's what I ended up doing. I was silent. I kept a smile on my face. I wrapped up the session, so I had final words. And then we had already planned to eat dinner together. During dinner, I said nothing. I allowed her to give me critique on the session, and I listened well. I commented back. There were some useful things that she said. I appreciated that. But of course, in the back of my mind, I'm still distracted by this STD between us. And so I just kept it calm, and I decided, you know, Michelle, you have to use your professional manner. So I didn't respond. Fast forward a week later, I'm back home from my travels, and she's back home. We had occasion to talk about something else that's upcoming. We're supposed to be making a trip together. And so I said to her, and this is my invite to her on this trip, it's a business trip. And I said to her, now, what you cannot do on this trip is what you did on the last one. And let me tell you what I mean. And I proceeded to share with her what she did, why it was wrong, how it impacted me, how it may have impacted her and my audience. And I said, this is something that can never happen again. I need to have that confidence in you that something like this is not going to fly out of your mouth and create an STD for us. We laughed about that part. She got the point. All things mended. We're going to have a great trip. So my question to you is, what are your STDs in the workplace? Let me hear from you. Talk back. This is Michelle Powell with Professional Manner, and I guess I'm going to call these sessions STDs in the workplace. Talk to me. Thanks.